first lessons I actually learned from the magazines is something you might think is kind of silly, but it clarified something for me. You know, I used to be one of those trainers before I started writing for magazines. I used to be one of those trainers who especially like in the women's magazines, you see the girls and the models are always holding those little small silver dumbbells, and thought that was a problem because they were promoting that girls should use light weights. And some of the men's magazines, you see guys using small dumbbells, and as a trainer, get all upset. Oh, that's not overload, and blah 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 blah. So it was only until on a magazine shoot, watching this happen, that I got to learn why that is. And just shows how much I didn't know, but I was judging as if I knew. The reason why they use smaller dumbbells is so you can see the model better. If you got some monster 50-pound dumbbell holding up here, it's covering somebody's face. You can't see their head position. You don't really see, it doesn't make a good photo. So, if you've thought about that before and you realize that, hey, good for you. But this lesson is something that's really helped me, I would say, become better at drawing attention to the classes that I teach at conferences. They don't do any good unless people show up to them, or the information I've worked hard to put together, and also drawing attention to my blogs. Again, I don't write these blogs for myself. I write them for other people, and the more people that read them, the more people that I can potentially help. So you may get an idea where I'm going with this, but it's titling it with a sexy title. I can't tell you how many times I get trainers of trying to dig me on something. They go, oh, well, you seem like you use a title just to get attention. And I go, yeah, absolutely. That's what a title is supposed to do. So, if you're really caught up with what the title says, I would say you're really you're majoring in the minor at this point. However, you want to make sure that there's nothing in that title that deceives people, and if you think there's a potential that they could be deceived by the title, it's my job and your job as a writer, as a teacher, to make sure that you clarify that once you get them into your class or you've had them click on your blog. Another lesson I learned from several editors of magazines I've written for, when I've had them kind of reject certain exercises that I put in articles and talk to me. They always go, dudes aren't going to do this, or women aren't going to do this in a gym. And the problem was, I was giving these maybe, non-traditional exercise variations, or things that just, they're so different from what people know that the average person is going to be embarrassed to do them because they're already kind of uncomfortable, going to the gym. So giving them some sort of crazy exercise, even though it might be a great exercise, and I would do it with my clients in a private setting all day long, in a big box gym where everybody's looking at you and checking you out and worried about what you're doing, it's unlikely that someone's going to do something that will draw a lot of attention to themselves and make themselves very uncomfortable. So that's helped me as a writer when I'm putting things out to the general public to understand, yeah, I could give them some cool variations and little tweaks on things, but if the exercise is so obscure, even though it's normal for us trainers, it's unlikely that they're going to do it. How to manipulate the packaging of workouts and articles and the things that I deliver to hit certain people's hot buttons, let's say men versus women, is also another really valuable lesson that I learned from the magazines. For instance, we all know that, or as trainers we know, that there is no such thing as women exercises and man exercises. There are just exercises. Sure, women may want to focus on their glutes a little more, and guys may want to focus on developing more muscle hypertrophy in their chest and arms and whatnot, but glute exercises are the same for men and women, and chest and arm exercises are the same for men and women. But we all resonate with different terminologies. For instance, guys like words like lean and ripped. Women resonate better with words like sexy, athletic, look like a goddess, versus like look like Arnold or something like that. So you can take the same workout and just change the packaging, and all of a sudden now somebody has more buy-in. We always hear about athletes, especially in football. Oh, I want to make sure the athletes buy into the system to form a team, whatnot. Well, same thing with your clients, man. If your clients aren't buying into what you're doing, they're going to be less likely to stick with you. So you definitely want to help them buy in. And if all it takes is a little bit of changing the packaging to help them buy in, which I've found certainly helps as a trainer, man, I'm all for it. So if you notice what the magazines do is they get right to the meat and potatoes. And that's what they cover. And if people are interested in learning the why, because we've taught them the how, we've showed them the workout, we showed them the exercises, the way to do it, good technique, then they can go back and pursue that part. So I see a lot of trainers, they don't want to answer questions that magazines like to put in there, like what are your top, what is your best lower body exercise, or what is your number one exercise for fat loss? And we all as trainers start going, oh God, well, fat loss is more complex than that, and you got to do this, you got to do that. The problem is the average person doesn't want to hear that stuff. They're just like, look, give me something that I can do right now to improve my workout, because I'm not going to remember all the science and theory that you're talking to me about. So just give me something that I can do. So us trainers, we have to look at that and go, what can I do to change this person? If I can just hand them one thing that I think that's going to improve their workout, why would I not jump at that opportunity? And if it helps this person, then down the road, maybe they'll go to my website and check out more things and create more interest and be more interested in learning about all the science and theory that I would love to tell them about anyway. So I've learned not to get so caught up and so worried about answering questions like what are your top 3 exercises for this and the number 1 exercise for this and things like that. I just answer those questions, and that's what people want to hear. That's what helps them the most. But what it does more importantly for us trainers is it gets them into our circle and gets them interested.